Hey, sorry about that. I can only record for so long before it cuts me off, and I didn't keep track of time on that last one. So let's pick up with where we left off. We were talking about our axis of symmetry. Just to go over those notes again in case you didn't get them before I cut you off there. For the axis of symmetry, it was a line that divides your graph into two exact mirror images. Remember, our parabola is that U-shaped graph, so we're looking for a line that goes right down the middle that's going to cut our graph into two equal pieces. I had mentioned already the axis of symmetry was going to pass through the vertex of your parabola. If you're going to cut the parabola in half, then it's got to hit at either that high or that low point that we talked about with the minimum or the maximum if it is going to cut it into two equal pieces. Now, the first kind of axis of symmetry questions that we'll be working with is you're going to have the picture, you're going to have the graph, and you have to give the axis of symmetry. The last two examples that we'll walk through together is you have the equation and you have to write the axis of symmetry, and I'll show you how to do both of those here as we finish up our lesson. Now, if you are given the picture, if you are given the graph, the axis of symmetry is going to be the same as the x-coordinate from your vertex. What I was mentioning when we got cut off there, we were talking about at the beginning of this lesson about the minimum or the maximum. Remember, minimum or maximum was how high or how low the graph was going to go, and that was the y that you had because it was up or down. Well, the axis of symmetry is going to be cutting through the x-axis on our picture, so our equation is always going to say x is equal to something because we're going to see it's the same as the x point that you have in the vertex for your ordered pair. Let's go ahead and look at two examples together here. If I were to graph this parabola, we know that this is a parabola. It opens up, which means the x squared would have been a positive number. So my axis of symmetry is going to be a line that goes up or down, and it's going to cut this parabola into two equal pieces. Well, where would that be for to cut the parabola into two equal pieces? It's going to be right there where I have that pink line. In order to give that equation of that line, I simply had to identify what was the x for the vertex. Well, in order to get to the x, I either have to go right or left. Beginning at the origin, to get to this vertex, I had to go to right, and I had to go right 4 spaces, so therefore my axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 4, and that's all I have to do in order to write the axis of symmetry. Let's go ahead and look at one more example here where we have our graph. Again, my axis of symmetry is going to be a line that cuts this parabola into two equal pieces. Where would that axis of symmetry be located is going to be right in the middle of our parabola. Where is the x vertex, where is the x point from the vertex? Well, in order to get to the vertex, all I had to do was go right 1 space. Therefore, my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. I don't care on how many spaces up or down I had to go to get to the vertex. That's with regard to the minimum or the maximum. But for the axis of symmetry, all I have to do is go left or right. Now, if you do have a hard time picking out where is the vertex, because maybe it's kind of in the middle of your Cartesian plane, it's in between a couple of the different blocks, let me just quickly show you one other way you can do this. And I think you're actually going to have to do this on both of your lesson practice questions. And I think if I remember correctly, those are going to turn into decimals or fractions, and that's perfectly fine. The other way to identify this axis of symmetry is going to be right in between the two zeros or in between the two x-intercepts. On the first part of our lesson, we learned how to identify those x-intercepts for where did they cross the x-axis. If you look at the graph that I have up here on the screen, it's got two different zeros because it crosses the x-axis twice. Where are those 2 points? The one that I have over there on the left would be at -3 because I had to go left 3 spaces. The one that I have on the right is located at +5. Well, the axis of symmetry is in the middle, so it's right in the middle of those two zeros. How do I find something that's in the middle? I'm going to do the average. Well, how do I do average? I add two things together and then I divide by 2. Well, we identified the two zeros as -3 and +5. So if I did -3 plus 5, that would give me +2. I added two things together, so I'm going to divide by 2. So our -3 plus 5 was 2, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1. And notice that's the exact same answer that I got here if I was to look at the graph, and you could easily pick out the vertex from our parabola. So do keep that in mind as you're looking at the two questions from your homework. Identify the two zeros, like I just showed you, the -3 and 5. Average them together, so add them together and divide by 2, and that will give you your axis of symmetry for the ones that you'll have in your textbook for your homework from this lesson. Now, one last thing I had mentioned, the other way that we're going to do our axis of symmetry is if you're going to be given the equation. Now, if you're given the equation, make sure you get down this bottom format that I have up here on the screen. It says x equals negative b over 2a. Notice the axis of symmetry is still going to be x equals something. It's always in that format where x equals something. Well, what on earth is this b and the a that I see in our formula? The b, you're always going to find right in front of the x in your quadratic equation. And notice on the second line there, it says ax squared plus bx plus c. Where is that b? It's right in front of the term that just contains the x. So that you're going to put into the numerator, and notice it says negative b. So you're going to put the opposite of whatever the equation says. In the bottom, it says 2a. Well, where do I see the letter a in our quadratic equation? It's what's right in front of the x squared. That was the number that we used earlier this year to determine whether it went up or whether it opened down for our parabola. So you're going to use the number in front of the x that goes into your numerator, putting the opposite for negative b. And then the a is what I have in front of the x squared that will go into the denominator being multiplied by 2. Let's finish up looking at two different examples here. If I were to give you the equation y equals negative x squared minus 4x plus 3, and I had to identify the axis of symmetry. Well, because I do have our equation, we're going to want to follow our format that x equals negative b over 2a. Well, let's go ahead and identify those two values. The b is, again, what I see right in front of the x. In front of the x, I see a negative 4. What do I have for the letter a? It's what's right in front of the x squared. Well, I don't see a number there, so it's understood to be 1. And I do notice that there's a negative sign. For the a, I'm going to use negative 1. So let's go ahead and fill in our formula. Notice in the numerator, I put positive 4 because I have to put the opposite because of negative b. Negative 4 makes a positive 4. In the denominator, I filled in my a, which was negative 1. Now I'm going to do that multiplication that I have in the denominator. So now my question says 4 over negative 2 for 2 times negative 1. And I'm going to finish up by dividing. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. And there is my axis of symmetry that x is equal to negative 2. Let's do one more example to finish up today about our axis of symmetry, looking at this quadratic equation. Y is equal to 3x squared plus 5. Because I'm given our equation, I want to follow the formula that x is equal to negative b over 2a. Where do I pick up those two pieces for our formula? The b is what's located right in front of the x, and the a is what's located right in front of the x squared. Well, if I look at this quadratic equation, it is quadratic because it does have the x squared and nothing that's above the x squared. However, there's no part that just contains the x, and that's perfectly fine. So what do I need to use for the letter b? Because there's nothing in the equation that has the letter x and only the letter x. Well, I want to use a 0 because it's not part of the equation. What am I going to use for the letter a? It's what I have right in front of the x squared, and that is my number 3. So in our formula, I went ahead and filled in our 0 for the letter b. I didn't put negative 0. There is no such thing there. I just put 0 because there is no term that just has x. And I'm doing 2 times 3 in our denominator. Well, 2 times 3 gives us 6. And then finishing 0 divided by 6 is 0. And there's my axis of symmetry that x is equal to 0. Well, I hope that makes sense about our different characteristics of our quadratic functions, whether you see the graph or whether you see the equations. If you have any questions as you're trying your different homework problems from this lesson, go ahead and email me or contact me, and I'll do my best to try to explain that to you. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you in a little bit for our next lesson.